had some very harsh words for you, obviously. He didn't condemn the violence, but he said that, in his words, it was unexpected because of the weeks of some violence we've seen in the city. What's your response to that?
My response is, as the President of the United States and somebody who has been perpetrating divisive and hateful language for 4 years, for him to now stand here and say that it's unexpected and act as though he's shocked is appalling to me. We all saw this coming.
Correct. You refuse to allow police to maintain law and order in your city, and big surprise, the city erupted into violent chaos. And it was our side that's been saying this all along, and your side that is somehow still in utter denial.
And as I said, I've stood at this podium I don't know how many times and have said that we must denounce the violence.
Once again, I agree. So hopefully you'll repeat after me. I hereby denounce the violence of the rioters and terrorists to whom you have explicitly granted full rule of your city.
That we must work together, that we must accurately address.
Headlines like these that describe the riots plaguing your city as protests? Do you want to address the man killed by said rioters just last night? I see. Never mind.
What's going on around systematic injustices in our community here in Portland and hold ourselves accountable for what's happening here in Portland.
You're the system. Governmental systems are, get this, systems. And by refusing to protect the innocents in your city who are begging for you to do something about the violence in your city, you are failing to serve justice. Yes, vigilante justice is not justice, but nor definitely is mob rule.
But the president has a role to play in this as well, in acknowledging and understanding those systematic injustices nationally.
President Trump has repeatedly offered to send in the proverbial troops and allow the innocent residents and business owners that are having their livelihood and lives destroyed as we speak to have actual protection against violence, and you have repeatedly rejected the offer and are, for whatever reason, proud of your refusal to allow the president to do your damn job and bring law and order to your city.
And the tweets that he has been putting out in the last 48 hours, attacking Democratic mayors, attacking those who are trying to bring resolution to the violence in their local communities.
By refusing to allow their communities to be policed? By gleefully waving goodbye to officers resigning by the 100 in cities like New York because they can't do their jobs? By openly calling the rioters to action and not only condoning but encouraging further takeover? I live in Connecticut. There's a reason New Yorkers are flooding our gates and why my town has exceeded full residential capacity for the first time in decades. Democrats are destroying these cities, and that's no longer a secret to even their own voting base, who are rapidly turning on their own party, as reflected by Biden's recent tank in the polls.
He has an opportunity to uplift us and bring us together and help us move through this difficult situation in our nation's history.
He offered you support. You rejected it.
You wanted to be a genie? You got it! And everything that goes with it.
And instead, he chooses to play petty politics and divide us.
And yet it's your actions as mayor of Portland that have caused the largest secessionist movement in your own state since the Civil War. Talk about literally dividing.
That's my reaction. So I'm going to do the work that I need to do here in my local community.
Like actually allowing police to do their damn jobs? I'll believe it when I see it.
With my local officials to take accountability for what's happening on our streets.
Bullshit!
And I'd appreciate that either the president support us or he stay the hell out of the way.
This was your tweet. This was your rejection letter.
And just to follow up, what he appeared to be saying was that because of the violence, he's not surprised that there would be this other group coming in. What's your response to that?
Well, of course he's not surprised.
And nor are we. When you disband your police force, which is what the rioters are calling for, which is what you've openly supported, and which is what you've done, something will fill the void. And in most cases, it means vigilantism, paramilitarism. We said this would happen. You denied it.
He encouraged them to come into our community. And previously, he has actually encouraged or at least tacitly approved of violence.
You can't be serious. He just had the most viewed nomination acceptance speech by an incumbent ever. Less than a minute on Google, folks. Less than a minute. In less than a minute, anyone can find him condemning the rioters' violence, something you, to this day, refuse to do in one of the most viewed speeches ever, and he specifically mentions your city 2 days ago. You can't possibly be this ignorant. This is a lie, and everyone sees right through it.
And so I'm not surprised in the slightest. I'm surprised if he would be surprised by this. There's an olive branch opportunity here for all of us.
Which you proudly rejected.
We need to reset. The president needs to reset. I need to reset.
You need to get out of office. You've repeatedly, proudly, openly refused to do the one very basic thing that is your job, and now someone is dead because of it. This is not a call to violence, but for God's sake, to the people of Portland, remove your mayor from office through whatever legal channels are available. I mean, at least stop voting for him.
This community needs to reset, and America needs to reset. And it's going to take his leadership in the White House.
No kidding.
And it's going to take my leadership here in City Hall to get it done.
Kowtowing to belligerents and allowing violent mobs to run roughshod over your city is not leadership.
And so I'm saying, let's end this summer. Let's end the violence. Let's commit to that. Is that something we can all agree on, that we are done with the violence?
You cannot negotiate with an unreasonable adversary. Kindly asking violent radicals, and that's what they are, to stop being violent won't get them to stop. They are not reasonable actors. You have to use force with these people. This is the exact reason you have a police force. Use them.
And now let's do the hard work of acknowledging, of hearing, and understanding the pain and the suffering and the fear and the anxiety that exists in this nation around the COVID crisis.
Your city is under siege. That's not why you've been called to the podium. That's not why the line of questioning has been brought up. Do not pivot away from the topic at hand.
Which the president initially seemed to be ignoring or poo-pooing, and the economic crisis,
which your party caused, but go on.
Which is now causing so many Americans economic stress and strain. And now the work that we have to do in our communities across this nation in the wake of the murder of George Floyd. I'm up to that challenge.
Everyone is on board with George Floyd. You asked us to come to the table, and we did. Then a radical wing of your side pulled out a flamethrower and set the table on fire. And you said, never mind the guy with the flamethrower. Never mind that the room around you is fully engulfed. You want us to come back to the table, then you need to take care of the guy with the flamethrower. Stop with the gaslighting and do your damn job.
And I hope the president is too. And I'm ready to reach across any aisles I need to reach across, any political divides that I need to cross in order to bring us back together. Somebody's got to do it. I'm committed to it. I know my colleagues on the Portland City are committed to it. I'd like to hear the President of the United States
offer to help clean up your mess. You're lying, and everyone knows it.
Say he's all in. Let's bring this great nation back together.
And make America great again? Agreed. Election in November, folks.